All right, y'all. How are my rippers tonight? I hope good. Anyway, tonight, what we're going to do is there's lots of videos out there about how to make, stoves out of, cans and things like that. But I want to make the ultimate one, the one that really works, the one that's truly a rocket stove that has the ventilations and manifolds and things like that. But I want to make it easy, and I want it to be done out of the trash, just like always. So, because I'm trashy. Anyway, we're going to start, first off, getting a sip. We're going to start with the mess kit. And as you can see here, I took me one of those bigger chicken chunk cans, right? Now, you don't want the kind with the pop off. That won't work. See, you want the kind where you got to cut the lid off. And what I did is I took my deal like this, my can opener, and I opened her up like that so that it's like this one. And now I'm going to show you how to make it. See, this is my pot, and I curled the lid back, so now I've got a pot where I can cook on it. See, that's part of my mess kit. Now I'm going to show you with this one. This is a little tomato paste can, right? So you open it up, but you only cut, you leave about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches there. Cut all the way around, and I use a cutter here, or a can opener here, that doesn't leave a sharp edge on there, but as you can see, I cut the crap out of myself anyway, and you'll see why in just a second. But so wearing gloves is kind of a good idea, but it ain't fun, and it ain't rip curl if there ain't bleeding, right? Right. All right, so you get your can like this. Now be careful, this one will be a sharp edge there, somewhat sharp. So you've left about 1.25 inches or so, 1.5 inches, about 1.25 inches of meat left there on the lid, and leave it attached, right? And then you clean it all out. So then what you do is you take that aside, and you take your needle nose pliers like this, right? And you see how I got me a line on there? Right. So you just kind of grab it along that line and just bend her like that. See that? You just bend her over. Yeah, I'm not going to touch that. And you just, on this other one here, you just kind of grab it right on that line. You see how I got that right there? All right. And you just bend her over. All right. Look at that. We got her bent over. All right. See how we got her? All right. Then you can just take and, with your fingers very carefully, just keep bending that like that. Now, you see how I got that? Right? All right. Now, take your pliers like this and kind of just flatten her down real good. Right? All right. And we just keep flattening her down. And you can work over on the other side like that and flatten her down. And now you just take your pliers and you kind of just give yourself some little bends like this, and you just keep bending her over. And work from the other side, because you got to be even. You just keep bending her over like that. There you go. And you can curl it as much as you want. Some people like a full curl. Get it? Curl. Yeah. And some of you, rip curl, you know all that. So we're going to give it a good old rip curl here. And we're going to work it around, and you can kind of just get it to where, looky there. Now, I've got my cup. See? Check that out. That's pretty cool, right? There's my mess kit. Now for the hard part. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make a single can one, because it's going to relate to the ultimate, which you'll see in a minute. So what you want to do is get yourself a container, or make yourself some corn for dinner. But I took corn here, and you got a can that has a bottom and it has the regular style top, not the pull top, right? So you take one of these. Now it's the old style can opener for like condensed milk and things like that, right? Yep. So you take that, and you kind of want to be symmetrical with it, but you go and you make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, you just push her in like that, right? And you just you can kind of just, you know, get her pushed in there. And then you go directly across from it. See how I'm directly across from it? And you push her in like that, right? All the way now. All right, so right there, you can pour. Oh, this must be cream of corn. What do you know? That or it's not any good anymore. So we're going to continue then. And we're going to, always keeping it symmetrical, we're going to poke one there. And we're going to go right across from it, poke one there, right? See how I've done that? All right. And let's see if this gives me enough room to poke another one. Yeah, I think it will. So we're going to poke one there. And we're going to poke one there between those. Poke one here. It's a lot of poking. And we're going to poke one there. Now look at that. We've got a pretty design, see? That's going to help us with our manifold. So now we're going to wipe that off. That's why I got these over here. And now we're going to take this close cut type can opener and we're going to clip her down on here and cut that lid out. Look at that. Yeah. There we go. Look at that. Right? We'll set that aside. And now we've got our can opened, right? And we're going to empty that out right there like that. Now we're just going to give this a quick rinse. Now you guys watch my stuff. Make sure nobody steals it. Because people steal stuff around this house like you wouldn't believe. Tell you what. I see you eyeing it. It ain't done yet. Don't take it yet. Okay. Now I'm back. Okay. Now, it worked better if it's a traditional can. I think this is going to work, though, where it's not... See how this isn't like the top? Try and get one that's the same on the top and bottom, right? But now that I'm rinsed out, I'm going to poke this back through like this and kind of make it cave the other direction, right? Right. Okay. Now, what I'd like to do is I took this, and you'll see how it's kind of got a curl started. Well, I'm going to just take and kind of flatten that out like that. Now, you see how I flatten that out? All right, I'm going to go around and do that on every one of these little prongs. I'm going to flatten it out. Now, that's going to give you some strength, right? I'm going to flatten that one out. I'm going to flatten this one out. Because those are going to be our little feet. Because this is going to be the manifold. This is going to help get air underneath your fire. And since this is just a single can one, this is kind of really important. Now you could just throw some sticks in there and it'll burn just fine. And it'll be good for use. But you know what? We're better than that. Right? Right. Okay. So, ooh, look, I still got some cream on that one. Anyhow. All right. So now you see I'm all flattened out. And it's kind of like it's got legs, right? So I'm going to make this kind of dome up a little. Now, there's not enough room on this one, but what I did with the bigger lid manifold is I just trimmed out little spots right like this. See? Because you don't want to cut through anything. And we'll go ahead and do it on this one just so you can see what I did on the bigger ones. But in between here, in each one of these in-betweens, that's what we'll call them, in-betweens, I went ahead, and as you can see, I'm cutting her a little triangle out. And that just kind of lets some air through, right? Right. And it makes us be able to adjust these legs a little more. Ooh, I got close on that one. All right. All right, so now I'm going to take all these little things here, probably get them in my foot some other time. Oh, here we go. Put them on this. That's using my head. I'll pull that off. Now you can see where I cut myself. I'll pull that off, and I got that one. Got this one. It'd help if I didn't have some cream on here. I should have looked. I thought that was regular corn and water. But That's how I usually like my corn. Now you can take these little pliers here if you want to use your head, but that's not something I use much. It kind of hurts, you know. And there's not much left. So let's see. I get them all? Oh, I got one more. All right. Okay. So as you can see, now those are all kind of like individual legs. Look, I'm making a snowflake. That's what I'm doing. I'm making a snowflake. Now, see how I got them little triangles out of there like that? Now, you might need to bend some of these a little so that you can make this not snag up on the can. These little edges, the sharp edges that are poking out. You'll see, you can kind of flatten those out a little bit. There we go. That just makes it go down in the can easier. There we go. See how that's nice and rounded looking now? Now, we'll kind of bend those legs down so they're poking downwards. Now we're going to put our dinner away. All right. Now, this is the part I'm not sure if it's going to work, but we're going to try. So, because I don't have an edge to grip on, I'm going to kind of hold it. But you see, I'm going to poke holes here. Now, and you're just going to go inwards like that. And you want to go the opposite direction, directly 90 degrees, okay? There's another one. See how I'm doing that? Peekaboo, peekaboo. All right, I like peekaboos. Anyhow, and then you're going to go in between that, 90 degrees there. Or close to it. There we go. All right. And then you can go in between each of those if you want. Kind of get those started. There we go. Now, see how I got all them in there? Now you're going to take your needle nose and kind of flatten those down. Not hard, just enough to get it so that it's flush with the bottom. You see? That way you get a nice long tab there. And I'll show you here in just a minute why that's important. You're going to use them tabs. Now, see how I got them all flattened down? Okay, now you're going to take like your little pick here or a little screwdriver like this, and you're just going to look inside here. See how I'm doing that? And you're just going to pry them up a little bit. So each one of those you're just going to pry up a little. All right? That's a way. Pry those up. Not all the way shut, just pry them up. Okay. Now the last one, that's going to be the tough one. That's the one where you're going to have to kind of finagle in here with a pick or something and get it pried up. Now, you see how I got them all pried up? Look inside there. See that? See how I got them all pried up? That is so that this holds itself up and it locks in between those other ones. Now watch, this is magic. I'm going to take and place this down inside here and move her around so she falls into place. There we go. That is our manifold. And you can take the handle and kind of push it down into place. But you see how we got a manifold there that keeps it held up. So that way your bed of coals will sit up here on top while the air still comes in and through. Now look, if you look inside there, you see how I'm able to get air up and through there and even through here? Look at that. That keeps it from just, because if you just pile up coals and stuff, you'll clog these holes up, right? And you'll have to clean it eventually anyway, but this keeps your material up and off the bottom and keeps it burning good. Now, you're not done yet. Nope. In fact, you see how I kind of started some of them holes by pushing a little bit too hard on there? Let's push those back the other direction. Because if you set a can on here, it's got to be able to breathe. Right? So you're going to go and do 90 degrees across from this one. And you kind of have to grab the can and squeeze a little bit to give yourself some strength as you're doing this. See how I'm doing that? That's so as your stuff burns and it's going through the manifold. Oh, of course, we got to get the manifold back the right direction. Okay, so as it's going through the manifold, the flames, this allows air. If you put a pot on this, it's just not going to work good. You got to have it like a chimney, so it comes in through the bottom and goes out through the top. So you can just take like that. Now, you know, 4 of it's probably okay for this one, but you can do more if you want. So we're going to make sure that this is, there we go. Make sure all of these are to the rim, because that's how we like it, to the rim. And then we're going to just make sure they're nice and flat, because then you could take a smaller can and put her on there too. So now we've got our top air. Now this is our single can. Look, we got our manifold in there. See, it's held up off the bottom. And we can even take our littler can. Look at that. Woo! Boom! Rock solid, baby. Ow! Yeah, all right. Now, you can take your big one on there too, and see, now even if that blocks that all off, the flames can still come out of here. Now, if you need even more, you can poke 4 more of these. 1 here, 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 and here, but that's good for now. So, that takes care of that, right? Right, okay. Now we're gonna get into the advance. Look at this, look at that. Woo, that's a ninja star. Woo-choo! Anyway. So I'm going to take this out. Now what we got here, instead of just a single can, we got 2 cans. That gives us 2 chambers. An outside burning chamber that preheats air and an inside burning chamber that combusts it. And it also keeps it from getting hotter on the outside as much as it would just a single can. So as you can see, I showed you how to make the manifold. We still got it in there, right? Right. But you'll notice, just do the same things you did around the bottom here to make the manifold and to the lid, but I added a few more holes in here with my punch. Wherever there was a triangle, I put 1 hole in there, and when it was between the triangles, I put 2 holes in there, right? And you'll notice one is kind of almost where below the manifold, one's above the manifold. They can both be above the manifold too, it doesn't matter, but that lets some more air in there, right? And as you can see, I did the same thing around here on the top. But I cut me out a little hole here. That's for feeding wood, and I'm going to show you in a minute. But this is the big one. So you did this the same way I showed you with the little single. You do with this double, except this big can, except you push it in here. Now this was a 55-ounce can of whatever. This one was beans. Let me tell you what. I kept the bedroom warm with this thing right here for a good long time. Now, this one, I believe, was a 24-ounce, 24, 28. Anyway, the key is that it's just a little bit smaller than this one will fit in here. Now, I did the same thing along the bottom. You see the manifold in there? So I took the lid here, made the manifold like I did with this one, stuck it down in there, right? And then poke my holes, and then I put my little holes in the bottom. Then I made these, except you'll notice these go inside and the other ones go outside. I'm going to show you why. And you'll also notice the door, instead of being bent out, bends in, right? Okay, I'm going to show you why. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to bend these out so that they make contact with the sides of this one. So that way when I push it in there, it kind of holds it right in the center. And that's what makes this awesome. Like when I get this done together, it's going to be together, right? I'm probably going to be bleeding to death, but it's going to be together. So now, I got it out there like a ninja star, right? Look at that. Okay. Now, that's what I built this for, because you'll notice that if I push this in here and it sits on the manifold, it's just a little bit smaller, and I want to bring it up. So let's see if we can bring it up. First, I'm gonna take this and I'm going to fit it in there like that. And now this is the tricky part, because that's why those are bent like that. I don't want them to come back up. Ah, dang it, dang it. Come on now. It's really springy. All right. Ow, shit. Okay, this is where we're gonna use something like this. If it'll work. Okay, I'm gonna grab onto it like that. And we're gonna push, oops, shit. It keeps spinning on me. Now, out. We're gonna get it, don't you worry. Uh-huh. Okay, let's bend these in just a little more so they're not quite so springy. Is that better? That's better. All right. Now look at that. See that down in there? There's my spacer. And see how it's all holding in there in the center? Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we're gonna take this. Now I'm gonna bend these up just to test fit here in a little bit. Let's make sure my spacer was the right size. And we're gonna, now you wanna line up the ports here. You see that? That's important. Ports, important, get it? Anyhow, look at that. That's just like the right size, right? I just push down like that. Look at that, right? In fact, could actually be just a little bit smaller. So let's just, we'll reach in here, grab this little sucker. Look at that. Now, we're gonna give this just a little bit of a trim, a little more, so that we can make it a little smaller of a lift. Because I want it to be a little bit below, but not a lot. Okay. Now, there we go. Might have to use some of these. There we go. Now you're thinking, Ray. Now, we'll get this all bent around. I wonder how much blood I've lost building this project. Good thing I'm a nice rare blood type that we can't get. Anyhow, get that bent like that. All right, look at there. Get this one here bent a little bit more. Look at that. Look at that. I like making snowflakes, especially red ones. Red's my blood. Okay. Now, I don't have the magic fast forward, so you guys talk amongst yourselves, because I just about got her. Now, there you go. Now, she's back in where she needs to be. Just a little bit less. Okay, so now I'm going to stick my hands in the machine of tragedy. There we go. Kabang. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so see my spacers in there again? Right. Now, we'll put this in here like this, and we'll see how it holds it. Yeah, that's it. Look at that. Those things actually locked in, just like I planned. Almost like I meant it. Look at, you hear that clicking in there? That means I did it. Look at that. Now, it barely even rattles. Look, that's in there for good. See that? Now, do you see how I got 2 chambers? Right. So we're almost done. Now look, I got the feed port, right? I got my manifolds both in this and in the center one. This thing's solid. Now, look at that. Okay? See? Get my wood down in there. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is take and bend these over just like this to hold that down where it needs to be. Oh yeah, this is looking good. Now I can take my finger, because I got strong fingers, and just bend them over, because I got fingers of steel. Blood as red as blood gets. There we go. Now, do you see how I have that holding that in there? Look at that. This, all you need is a sack, and you could use this over and over and over again. And it's got dual air chambers here with an outer and an inner. So we got a pre-warming and a burn area that allows the vent to go up and through. And we've got our manifolds and everything in place. Look at that. Now tell me that isn't the ultimate in cooking delight. Look at that. And look at that. Right? Now, I'll test these in the next video, but see how we can put our wood right in here? Yep. That's the ultimate. I learned from others, just like you'll learn from me and I'll learn from you, and we come up with the ultimate. Sharing is how that happens, and that's the awesome thing about our community. We share skills, we improve skills, and we help each other. So remember, like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to put your comments down in the comment section. Let me know, do you think this is ultimate or not so much? What could I have done better, or what did I get just right? I really value your opinion. So be sure to share this with everybody, because it is ultimate, right? And I did bleed for you quite a bit, trust me. And I'll look forward to seeing you guys next time. Be sure to always be safe, especially right now. Always get yourself secure where you're at. Always be sure to be aware and alert of your surroundings and what's going on around you. And be prepared for anything that may come our way. And to add to that, just one thing I'd like to ask. If any of you see something funny or interesting or suspicious, tell someone. Tell me. Tell somebody else. Tell everybody. But we need to communicate, because if we don't, this is going to be a lot harder in the future. So, I love all you guys. I'll see you next time. I'm going to turn you off now, or turn you on. Never know.